Hello, this is Mr. Evilcheese.
And I'm a zombie cat.
This is a video of my custom Harley Quinn Venom or Carnage figure. Venomized Harley Quinn or Carnage-ized Harley Quinn. Symbiotized Harley Quinn.
Carney Quinn.
Yeah. She has that too. Yeah, I just... Around the time when they were coming out with all the Venomized Marvel characters, they had Hot Toys and Marvel Legends and pop figures, Venomized versions. I was just looking at Harley Quinn and I was thinking, that'd be cool to have a Harley Quinn Venom, which it's different universes, Marvel and DC, but
you're crossing a dangerous line.
yeah, but I just drew a picture of it on paper and colored it. I drew a couple other pictures. I'm like, I think I actually want to try to make one. That's around the time they came out with the Venom Marvel Legends line, and they had the Scream figure. I was thinking I could maybe get another Scream and modify it and turn it into Harley Quinn. That was a long time ago, and then it took me a while to finally do it, but I finally did it.
Well, that's because you got like 20 projects on your plate at minimum at all times.
Yeah. So I used pretty much the entire body from Scream, but I cut all the hair off. But all the rest, the same, the hands and everything, the body is all the same body, just repainted. And then I used Sugru, a moldable plastic, it's like flexible, to make her little tails, or hat tails or whatever, but made them more like their tendrils. It's a little different than how I drew them, because I drew them kind of like they were going all over the place, like they're moving around. I was trying to sculpt them that way and it just didn't look right. They look like horns or something weird, so I just made them look like this. I still like intend that they're supposed to like move around and attack if you wanted to, but I don't know. I can't.
I think they look cool like that.
Yeah. And I used that Sugru for her collar, for little white parts, cuffs or whatever, and then little tendrils coming up off of her body all over the place.
Your shoes.
Yeah, that was hard. They was all, after I sculpted them on, they all broke off and I had to glue them back on. These are somewhat flexible. They have wire in them and you can kind of pose, but you can't pose too much or this starts wrinkling the Sugru, or the paint on the Sugru. I use leather paint because leather paint's pretty flexible.
Yeah, that cigarette stuff's really hard to keep paint on. It's just, especially regular paint, just falls off.
Yeah. Yeah, regular acrylic paint does not like to stay on there, but leather paint works a little better because it's made to go on clothes that will flex. But one of my pictures, I drew her, the kind of how Carnage or Venom will make little weapons out of their hands, out of their goo or whatever. That's what I want to do with this, is she'd make like the mallet out of the symbiote. So her hand pops off and then this goes on there, kind of like it's just part of her hand. Then I attached all the little tenders to it and painted it. I'll stick it on in a minute. Yeah, at first I painted the where it splits a straight line down, but my pictures, most of my pictures, I had it like kind of like how it is there, not a straight line, like kind of like the symbiote's just changing color there. But yeah, put her little diamonds on the back there, and your arm. One thing is, most of the pictures I drew of her, she had a tongue, but can't really do that with this figure without really modifying the head too much.
And it would get stuck on her collar.
Yeah, so she don't get a tongue. But well.
I'm sure there's one inside her head.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if it's Carnage or Venom. Usually Carnage doesn't do patterns, except for when he was on Spider-Man. He had patterns, so I don't know. But then Venom doesn't usually do red, so I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's just some other
somebody else.
different symbiote. I don't know. Maybe it's the Scream symbiote. But then there's no yellow. But
maybe the symbiote that's on her is Carl.
maybe. I had to do a lot of grinding on all of her joints, because if you paint the joints and then you move them, then the paint chips off. So there's a lot of grinding and rough spots on the joints, and still some spots where paint could possibly pop off. If you look up in her armpit, you can kind of see.
That is such a pain.
Yeah, I know. There she is with the mallet hand.
That is so cool. I love the way it winds up the handle too.
Yeah. Part of the reason that is winding up the handles because there's a big gap in there that just didn't look right, so I had to put something there. So I thought, well, I'd make some of the white cuff go up on there.
I like it.
Yeah, I really like the way that turned out. I think that's a lot better than like having her hold a mallet, because it just makes more sense for the symbiote to make one, like how they do with blades and things. This is one that I really want to make someday, and finally got it done.
Yeah, I didn't even realize you were working on this till it was almost finished when I saw it. And I think it turned out really cool. I really like it.
So there's the Scream next to her with the mallet. There's Harley next to a Batman figure. I think that is the Mayfix Batman, I think. But Harley looks a little big there, but I guess in a way with the symbiote it makes sense, because they often make the person they're on bigger. Especially Venom gets huge. So if she's a little bigger, it still makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's Harley Quinn next to some other Harley Quinn figures. And there's Harley Quinn Venom next to some symbiote figures. Venom and Carnage and some others. So that's cool. Well, I liked making this figure. It was one of the hardest ones to paint. One of the hardest, like, 6-inch customs that I ever painted. It was really a pain in the ass. Painting on all of her little separate red and black spots, and then I had to grind down her joints multiple times. I grinded it down, then painted it. Still kept chipping, so I had to grind down more. And then I had to paint all of her Subaru bendy parts multiple times, because that stuff does not like paint. So I had to keep going over it and over it until it covered it. So yeah, she was really annoying to paint, but still I like how it turned out, and I'm glad I finally finished it. I kind of wish I was able to add more to her, like maybe give her an alternate head where her little danglies come out like they're attacking, or give her some other alternate hands. I think it'd be cool.
You can still add to her at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like how she turned out, and almost wish I had like a 6 scale of this, but I'm not sure I want to really try to make that.
I think she turned out really cool.
Yeah. Well, it's Mr. Evilcheese.
And I'm Double Cat.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Harley, well, what the hell? Whoa, Harley, what the hell happened to you? What is all that stuff all over your body?
Mr. J, I was hoping I'd run into you.
What is your hand doing? What, ew, you just made a hammer out of your hand. I think I gotta go check on my dog and see if he did his, check my parents, my lawn is on fire, I gotta go.